The project begins. I got my carb jet coming in, so I will rip apart this bike and hopefully the removal of this carburetor will go all right. So got the side panels off, seat, gas tank removed. Next, drain the float bowl, take the vacuum vent off of here, and then loosen these two screws, take the throttle cable assembly off, loosen these rubber gaskets here, and pull the carburetor out. Draining the float bowl. So far going all right. Looks like it's emptied. So the first issue I came across after I drained the float bowl was this deal here for the cable, throttle cable assembly. I was just going to take this whole piece off the carb so I wouldn't have to disconnect the cables. Well, I don't have JIS bits because I wasn't patient enough to wait for them to come in the mail. And so you can see it's a little strip, not all the way. So I'm not even going to mess with that anymore. I don't want to strip it anymore, so it's still on there solid. All I did was I loosened those two nuts here on the deceleration cable and the acceleration cable, pulled that off. Pulled out the choke out of the carb here, and I'm being pretty cautious. I electrical taped off everything so no dust or anything or dirt will get in there while I have this laying around, and I zip tied everything back. That way when I remove this, nothing's in the way dangling. The last thing I gotta do is for the secondary air breather here, that vents right here. So I just got to pull that tube off and pull the carb out. So we have success as far as the carburetor being removed. That's good. So now all I need to do for the jet kit is this brass plug. I need to drill that out and pull it with the bit and screw they gave me. Then I will pull the float bowl off to put in the 150 jet. Take out that 140 in there. And then take the top off here. Put in my new adjustable needle to put that on the 4th notch. And these bolts, I'm going to bring it to the dealer to have them get out because I do not want to strip those. The set I'm getting is coming with an Allen bolt, so it'll be a lot easier to get out and I won't have to worry about stripping these. And then the kit has, so once I remove the fuel mixture screw, the stock one, the kit comes with an extended fuel screw. That way, That way, if I need to adjust the fuel air mixture, I can do it right outside the bike. I don't need any special tools to get in there to do it. So, all right. So I changed the spark plugs while I was in here too, because why not? It's a cheap part. And I got almost 7,000 miles on the bike. So the other thing I was looking too for when I do remove this pair valve, you guys, for all you who have DR650s, newer ones if you don't know yet, all this crap here in front of your exhaust valve, when you check your valve clearances on the exhaust side here, that these two wires here are in your way, it's going to be hard to get a wrench in there to loosen those bolts. So once you remove that pair valve, all this crap, these two things right here, will be out of there. Rip this whole stupid thing right off. So just letting you know. So here's the jet kit from Procycle. Comes in this nice little box with instructions. You can see here, got the new Allen head bolts, the new adjustable needle. We'll be putting it on the 4th notch. I'll use the clip and the spacer for that. I got the drill bit for here for the brass dealy to pull out. I'll screw that screw in there, pull it out. Then I got the extended fuel screw valve that'll go in there, and it'll stick out from here so it's easily adjustable. Got my 3 jets, the 155, the 150, and the 145. So, should be good to go. Alright. Football is off. Take out the 140 jet. The stock jet. There, and yep, this is the 150. That in there. All right, I'll put the cover back on and we'll do the needle. So you can see the difference in the needle here. This is the stock non-adjustable needle, and here's the one from Procycle jet kit with the notches and a lot different taper. Okay, update. The plug pull went good. It was really simple. Pulled out this brass plug. You can see that's where the fuel screw is. So I will remove that and put on this one from Procycle. Put that right in there. And then I think we're ready for assembly. Okay, the aftermarket fuel screw is in there. I tightened it all the way up till it's lightly seated, and then I went out 2 turns for the base settings, and with the needle on notch 4. And I will be saving all the stock parts from the factory. And it was, their screw was only 3/4 out. So not even a full turn from the factory, so it's definitely lean. Okay, so the carb is installed. So this wasn't a bad job. It takes time, and it's kind of a pain in the butt because there's extra stuff on these new ones that you gotta make sure you got put in here on the carb. Got the fuel line in, vacuum line in. The biggest pain in the butt was I had to put this secondary air breather on, obviously before I put the tank on, and then I had to try to get that on there between all this junk that's crammed in there. Got the vent, and like I say, that should be good. All I got to do now, this will be the moment of truth, is prime the float bowl. Fill up the float bowl because I drained that when I took it off. So I'll give that about 3 to 4 minutes, and then the moment of truth. I'm gonna try to start it. It's kind of a pain in the butt to put these throttles back, but I got them adjusted right and be good to go. Okay, so I'm obviously kind of nervous, really, because I don't want problems, because it's going to be a pain in the butt too. Granted, now I won't have to take out the carb. I can just turn it if I need to do anything and just take the tank off again. But all right, float is primed. I'll put it on reserve because I'm at close to switching out here. Oh yeah, get my ignition. Oh, please work. Have not started it up yet. Okay, moment of truth. Oh, I hope I did it right. I hope I did it right. Oh yeah, that scared me. Kill switch. Let's start it. So that's good. Give it a little chill. Because it is like 40 degrees. The bike's running. That's good. I don't see any leaks. What the heck's that burning now? Okay, that smoke, that was just, I changed the spark plugs, and what I did to clean the top of the cylinder, while it was smoking, I sprayed WD-40 on there, and then this stuff here to clean McGuire's, and so that's what was burning off there, that smoke. That had me a little worried, and it kind of went all down in the, after I changed the spark plugs, I cleaned the head and it went down in there, so the engine was burning that off. So no big deal there. I went out to tune, and I did notice, I went for the warm-up ride. I did the stock setting, base setting, needle on the 4th jet, 2 screws out, and go for a spirited 10-minute ride, they say, and then in 4th gear, wide open throttle, and then go down to 7/8 to check your main jet. I got a violent, just like blip, like the bike wanted to stop, like it was just engine braking, but it wasn't like, you know, engine compression braking. It was like a quick blip, violent jerk, like it wanted to stop, and then it was fine from there. And it would only do that at wide open throttle to the 7/8. Now if I did wide open throttle and just laid off, you know, completely just let go of the throttle grip to lay it off, it wouldn't get that blip. It's only if I slightly let off the throttle from wide open throttle. I could go from the low end of the gear through the mid-range, even to 3/4 throttle, and let off a little bit and wouldn't do it. Like I say, it was only wide open throttle. The issue I think I was having was the needle. And I'll show you that here. So if you notice there, when I installed that D plastic piece, D washer, whatever you want to call it, on top of the clip, I had it flush with the top of the needle. It wasn't flush with the clip itself when I put it the slide in, and when I put that in the slide. So I don't think it was notched right down there where there's that notch at the bottom of the slide. So I brought it home, and it was raining. It was really crappy. I did that tuning, and it was raining. It was miserable. I stayed up all day after work to do that, and I just had enough. So I said, I will check it this morning. So got home this morning and took off the seat again, or the seat was already off rather. I didn't put nothing back on besides the tank, just took that off. It was nice because I didn't have to take out the carb again, so I just took the tank off, rotated the carb, just loosened the brackets here. I took the needle out, and I noticed that washer did get pushed back down against the clip. However, I don't think it was because I put it in wrong to begin with. I don't think it was seating anyway, even though that washer got pushed down to the clip. So I think that's where that violent jerk came from. So today I didn't leave it on the 4th. I said, you know what? I'm going to try the 3rd notch. I put the thing down right, made sure it got in the slide right, and boy, oh boy, total improvement throughout each gear, low, mid, high. There is just one little blip I got to figure out yet. So it was still doing that kind of hesitation, only from wide open throttle. To that 7/8, and it was just a little like hesitation, like you know, it would stop and it'd go through. So I'm gonna work that out sometime here. I'm gonna try the 2nd notch. I didn't do nothing with the air box. The snorkel's still in. I don't plan on cutting it. Even the way it is now, it's better than the stock jetting, at least by 50%. I mean, when I was in trying to just do 55 on the highway, even 58 in 5th gear, there wasn't enough flow there. It wasn't too high of an RPM for that stock jetting. And then 4th gear you're kind of on the higher end and it gets annoying after a long time. Now I can go all the way down to 50 in this and just woo. In 5th gear, I can cruise in that. Every single gear I can cruise lower at a lower RPM, and it pulls through. You don't get it like the bike wants to like stop, or the feeling that the revs aren't high, you need to downshift. It's just a totally different feel. 1st gear now, as far as single track, now I'm running the 15 tooth sprocket and the 42 rear sprocket, so it's stock. 15 tooth in the front, 42 in the rear. Single track, I mean, a lot of times you got to go like 8-10 miles an hour in 1st gear to keep the revs up so you don't clock out. Well, when you get on a technical trail or you're at the bottom of a hill, you need to climb some rocky single track trail. To start in 1st gear, you got to really just get it up there quick. And a lot of times you're lifting the front tire off the ground. It's not as fun. There's more clutch work. Now, you put this thing in 1st gear, it just tracks. You can leave it at 5 miles an hour and just a slight, you don't even need a quarter throttle. It's just, maybe half of a quarter, not even that. And it just pulls right up. Honestly, because I never ran the 14 tooth sprocket. I'm still going to try it because it's cheap enough. I'm going to get the kit from Procycle, do the 14 tooth front sprocket with their retainer, the 3-clip retainer. That way I don't have to grind down my stock retainer. That way, if I strictly do a single track trail, I'll just put that 14 tooth on and I'll see how it is on the highway too. I'm going to experiment probably next summer. That'll be just $36 to get the retainer and the front sprocket. But now, I mean, stock setup with this jet kit, I don't want to change it. I mean, it is perfect. Like for me, however, it's perfect. No complaints. Ditch that. It's worth it. It's a fiddle fart around and do this. Do it. It's a big improvement from stock jetting. Let's see what else was. Oh yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, the only time I think maybe on a technical trail, I know I have no experience or ridden one with a 14 tooth and a 42 reel or a 1444, but you can do it now even better. I'm just gonna do the 14 tooth experiment, but otherwise you're fine off road now, and even at a 45-degree angle, like I was testing it on pavement, 45-degree incline rather. You could just let it idle. You didn't have to pull in the clutch so it wouldn't clock out. It just tracked right up. Just do. So definitely it's hard to give it because I don't have any technical equipment to measure it, but I would say for sure it's a 50% improvement throughout every gearing. The only problem, the only issue that I have now is working out whatever this little slight hesitation stopping motion from full throttle just to 7/8. It's the only time. 4th, 5th gear. Once in a while, if I do a second shift clutch up wheelie, it's got that little bit, but you know, I'll experiment with it. I do like it on the third jet here. I could tell it, you know, obviously that's a little leaner, but like I say, I'm not doing anything with this stock airbox, and it was fine. And I have the stock header, so as far as the fuel screw goes, I mean, I got it hot. I was doing 70, 80 for probably, you know, 10 miles, and, you know, it was a good stretch. And I adjusted it, and I'm only, Suzuki, the factory fuel screw, they had it 3/4 of a turnout on their stock jetting. Mine is just a tad, maybe not even an eighth over a full turn out. So I'm pretty close to the stock as far as the fuel screw goes. And that seemed like the perfect idle for what I got going on here. And like I say, I could come up to a hill and just idle in first gear and then just give it a little throttle, and the response is there. It's working. Like I say, I just got that blip, and I would definitely get the Procycle kit. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not very mechanically inclined guy. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You just gotta do your homework. Be careful. Take your time. You know, and ask the DR community. But it's definitely worth it. I can even if I don't, you know, feather this out. It's something I can. It's not gonna kill me. You know, and I would honestly take this over the stock jetting, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's just way better cruising through town. Yeah, doing any trails now, hill climbs. And I did adjust. I'm 6'3" almost. I'm 205 pounds. And I did adjust my compression damping. The Suzuki stock is 8 clicks out. I'm only 3 clicks out now. I went from 8 down to 3. All I did bottoming out, that was maybe if I have gear luggage on, but 3 seems to work. I did try 5. It's hard to really feel a difference, but in my head, I guess 3 seemed a little better. So yeah, that is it. I'm still. Oh, that's another thing. I'm not going to mess with the third notch right now. It's because I haven't taken off the parafel. So I'm just going to see if there is any noticeable difference then with this off with the third notch, because I don't want to all of a sudden just do the second you know, notch now, and I didn't take this off yet, and then when I do, it's something's totally different. So we'll see. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Definitely do it. Just one final note too is because I did start with a full tank when I did all this, and I was running it hard this whole time, and I had to switch to reserve at 89 miles with this jetting between maybe 26 miles on the 4th notch. Maybe 50, it was like 15 or 18 on the 4th notch I did really hard, and then up to the 89 was on the 3rd. Like I say, hard. I was 70, 80 nonstop, full throttle most of the time on everything. It was the worst gas mileage I ever got. The worst gas mileage I ever got was when I ran 93. I'm never running that again, or 92. I stick with 91 now. But I got 38 miles per the gallon with the stock jetting with my slip-on exhaust on 93. Otherwise, no matter what I'm doing, I always seem to average between 42 to 48. Sometimes I'd get 50 miles per gallon throughout my riding. For this test, with the slip-on and the Procycle jet kit jetting, I averaged 35 miles per gallon. So now on this full tank, hopefully we don't get snow. I'm going to just ride it normal. I'm not going to hit probably over half a throttle for any long period of time and see what I get that way. So I just wanted to mention that for miles per gallon if anyone was wondering. All right, throttle on, man.